desperate search for answers tonight in the murder of a student athlete at U of M Dearborn. 20-year-old Kabria Arnold was found shot to death in Detroit on Sunday. 7 Action News reporter Rudy Harper talked to her family tonight. He's live on the west side with more. Rudy?
Hey, Dave, we just wrapped the interview up at the family's home. As you can imagine, they are in disbelief. She was murdered just blocks away here from the 8th precinct behind me. Her mother told me tonight that she was a standout college softball player and had a promising future.
My kids were asked, "Where's Auntie Kabria?" I didn't know how to explain to them where she was.
I am a lot of things, but a murderer I am not.
Welcome to Crimes Committed. This story brings us to Detroit, Michigan, where a brutal murder occurred in 2019, and it took 4 years for justice to prevail. In this video, we delve into the tragic case of Kabria Arnold, a promising young woman whose life was cut short by a senseless act of violence. Kabria Arnold was a vibrant 20-year-old student athlete at the University of Michigan Dearborn. She had previously played at Morgan State University in Maryland. Kabria was diligent in her studies, balancing academics with her athletic commitments. Her family cherished her warm smile. On the softball field, Kabria's pitching skills were unmatched. She also volunteered at local shelters, always eager to lend a helping hand. Her energy and determination were contagious, and she had a bright future ahead of her. Her mother described her as a happy, giving, funny, athletic, and caring child. As a pitcher on the university's softball team, she displayed both physical strength and mental resilience. Kabria dreamed of becoming a nurse, and her compassion for others knew no bounds. She also took courses at Wayne County Community College District, majoring in public health and business. Kabria was an accomplished athlete, playing softball, volleyball, and cross-country in high school. According to the Vice Chancellor for External Relations at UM Dearborn, Kabria was a student in the fall of 2018 and was only enrolled for 1 semester. The university's website noted that she entered as a junior in her first season with the softball team. Her death news sent shockwaves throughout the campus. Kabria was found dead on Sunday, November 17, 2019, shortly after leaving work at a nearby Meijer store. She had been shot near a vacant house on Bentler and Pilgrim Street on Detroit's west side. Detroit police investigated the site of Kabria Arnold's murder and said she was found unresponsive with multiple gunshot wounds to her body. She was pronounced dead at the scene by the medics. A resident near the intersection reported hearing a series of gunshots late that night, followed by a short pause and then 2 more shots. Following her death, police arrested a 28-year-old man and a 24-year-old woman, Gabrielle Brantley, in connection with the case. The man had been involved with both Kabria and the female suspect, though Kabria's family stated she was no longer involved with him before her death. The most heartbreaking thing in this case was the fact that Kabria was pregnant with her first child at the time of her death. Police Chief James Craig indicated that the incident involved domestic issues and confirmed that 2 individuals who were in custody were definitely strong suspects for the murder. According to Kabria Arnold's family, the man was her ex-boyfriend and her unborn child's father. Kabria's father, Kirk Arnold, expressed that only the perpetrator and the deceased knew the full story. The family knew the man accused of killing Kabria well and never anticipated such a tragedy. He had been a part of their lives, sharing meals and joining in their celebrations. Brandon Mitchell, Kabria's brother-in-law, recalled seeing the man for the last time on his birthday, also the last time he saw Kabria. Mitchell found it shocking that the person in their home was now in custody. Her family mentioned that she knew both suspects from school and that the woman in custody was in a relationship with the man believed to have pulled the trigger at that time. However, later he was freed by the court because no evidence was found against him. Kabria's mother, Diane Arnold, vowed to do everything she could to prevent similar violence. She wanted to address the root causes of such actions to prevent them from recurring. Diane emphasized the importance of understanding what led to the violent act and stopping it early before it escalated into repetition and execution. Grieving over the loss of her daughter, Diane said that no matter what anyone does, it won't change the fact that Kabria was dead and her killers alive. According to her mother, Kabria was a strong-willed individual who would have defended herself if given the opportunity during the tragic incident. Diane described Kabria as the youngest of 6 daughters, emphasizing that she shared a unique and close bond with her youngest child.
She would be forgiving of this person because everyone has trials and tribulations.
Despite outsiders labeling them as spoiled, Diane emphasized that their family, especially her daughters, were observant and wise and learned from the actions of others. Even before making funeral arrangements or seeing Kabria's body, Diane cried over the prospect of living without her daughter's radiant smile and her capacity to absorb valuable life lessons. She was more than just my daughter, Diane reflected emotionally. She was my buddy, someone I relied on. She was supposed to take care of me. In response to the overwhelming support from the community, a GoFundMe page was set up to assist the family during this challenging time. The page has raised nearly $10,000, illustrating the outpouring of love and sympathy from those touched by Kabria's story. Detroit police reported that Kabria had arranged to meet someone near Pilgrim and Bentler, less than a mile from the Meyer store at Grand River and McNichols. The police said that Kabria's mother, Diane, became concerned when her daughter did not check in after the end of her work shift at 11:30 p.m., and this led to a hint that Kabria was shot near 11:40 p.m.
People saw her. She's loud. Somebody saw her.
Her mother reported not receiving a call from Kabria after work. She explained that the family had a check-in system, and she was always informed about their whereabouts. She said that they had a planner in which each child had a dedicated line where they documented everything they did. After not hearing from her, they began to worry. It wasn't like her not to check in. Diane and her husband, Kirk, went out to investigate their suspicions and discovered their truck surrounded by police tape. Tragically, they found out that Kabria, who had driven the truck to work, had been shot and killed. Before the court trials began, Diane said she would step back and allow the police to handle their duties. She hoped that the shooter either surrendered or chose to do the right thing by turning themselves in. Despite her defense attorney's objections, Brantley was ordered to stand trial. During the preliminary exam in 36th District Court, Judge Ronald Giles asserted that Brantley was involved in the murder, either as the shooter or in some other capacity. Brantley faced charges of first-degree premeditated murder, assault on a pregnant woman, intentionally causing miscarriage or stillbirth, and 2 counts of felony firearm possession. Judge Giles concluded that there were reasonable grounds to infer that Brantley was either the shooter or an aider and abettor. He emphasized that Brantley's involvement was evident. Testimony revealed that Brantley had given multiple versions of statements regarding the events leading to Kabria's death, including denying being at the scene. Defense attorney Lillian Diallo objected to sending Brantley to trial, acknowledging her lack of complete honesty, but emphasizing that Brantley never explicitly confessed to killing Kabria. Assistant Wayne County Prosecutor Mike Flynn argued that despite the inconsistencies in Brantley's statements, she admitted to participating in the plan to kill Kabria. Whether she was the shooter or an accomplice, her involvement was clear. During the preliminary hearing, a witness described seeing 2 individuals at the scene of Kabria Arnold's murder. The witness recounted hearing 3 gunshots and then noticing someone standing over another person. They also saw a car approaching, with one individual ducking behind a vehicle before returning to the person on the ground and firing 3 more shots. This person then got into a silver Chevy Malibu, drove away, returned to shoot the victim again, and finally fled the scene in the car. Brantley's involvement was scrutinized throughout the trial, while the male suspect was freed, as no charges were filed against him. 4 years after 20-year-old Kabria Arnold was tragically murdered while leaving work, her killer, Gabrielle Brantley of Southfield, was sentenced to life in prison in 2023. This was a crime of passion that stemmed from a love triangle. In November 2019, Brantley, 28 at the time, was involved with Kabria's ex-boyfriend when she fatally shot Kabria, who was pregnant with her first child. The shooting took place shortly after Kabria finished her shift at a Detroit Meijer on Grand River near McNichols. It is said that Gabrielle lured Kabria to the location where she was shot. Her body was discovered at Pilgrim and Bentler Street, with gunshot wounds on multiple spots.
My kids were asked, where's Auntie Kabria? I didn't know how to explain to them where she was.
During the sentencing proceedings, testimony reflected the impact of the crime on Kabria's family and community. Brantley had taken something that couldn't be replaced. Her jealousy and rage got the best of her, and she took an innocent woman, Yosha's life. Brantley received life without parole for first-degree murder and an additional 15 years for assault on a pregnant woman, causing miscarriage, stillbirth.
Kabria will be deeply missed. Her spirit, her energy. Not a day goes by that we all do not think about her or miss her presence.
The court proceedings revealed the emotional toll on Kabria's family, with her father's statement emphasizing their cherished memories of Kabria and the pain of her absence. During the sentencing, Tiffany also conveyed a statement from their father, expressing their deep love for Kabria and their hopes for her to lead a fulfilling life. They said that now, their only way to connect with her was by visiting her grave daily. Her father, directing his statement to Brantley, said that the punishment Brantley received will never compare to the pain and suffering she has caused them. He said there is no true justice, only confinement for a monstrous individual like Brantley.
Kabria and I, we hung out a lot. We went bowling, skating, to the movies, out to eat. I am a lot of things, but a murderer I am not.
When Brantley addressed the court, she maintained her innocence, claiming she and Kabria were friends who enjoyed various activities together. Kabria and I spent much time together, bowling, skating, going to the movies, and eating out, Brantley asserted. I am many things, but I am not a murderer.
As far as this point is concerned, the jury got it right, and you're going to get every day that you deserve. So one count of murder in the first degree, the court's going to sentence you to serve life without parole.
Nevertheless, the judge Shannon Walker and jury upheld the punishment. Shannon said that the Wayne County Court presumes that the jury made the right decision, and Brantley will serve every day she deserves. The trial may have ended, but Kabria Arnold's memory will remain a reminder of the devastating consequences of jealousy and betrayal. Reflecting on her life, we also recognize the urgent need for awareness and mental health check-ins. What reason did she have to justify taking not only Kabria's life, but the life of an unborn child? Kabria Arnold's tragic murder deeply affected the University of Michigan Dearborn community. Candlelight vigils in the Detroit community served as tribute, while a memorial fund was established to aid victims of violence. Our thoughts and prayers are with Kabria Arnold's family during this difficult time. May no one else have to endure the trauma of losing a close person to gun violence. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe for more compelling stories. Together we can raise our voices against violence and build a safer community.